Southwark Bridge, it's, let's face it, not one of the most glamorous or famous of London's bridges. In fact, I'd like to do, before I move on to the secrets, a bit of audience participation. I'd like to invite you, when I stop talking, to pause the video and just write down everything you think you know about Southwark Bridge, and then we'll come back later and see how many you got. Okay, so you've probably noted down hundreds of things about Southwark Bridge, and feel free to leave a photograph of your list in the comments section to this video. Southwark Bridge we see today, it's actually the second bridge on the site. The first one was 200 years ago this year. It was designed by John Rennie, and it was something of a wonder of the world at the time. It had the largest cast iron span in the whole world, and I think to this day it's the largest one ever built. And if you go under the north side of the bridge, there's a little tunnel there, and they've got some pictures on the wall which show that remarkable structure which was demolished about 100 years ago. So here we have the original Southwark Bridge, and here we have the current one, and you can see the difference in the length of the great arch here and the smaller one here. Despite its size, it was described in the press at the time as charming, graceful, even fairy-like, which doesn't really strike me as. But despite its grace, it nevertheless claimed 50 lives during its construction, so it's got a slightly morbid history to it as well. And while you're down in the tunnel, look out for these lovely ceramic supports. They kind of recapitulate some structures we'll see up on the span of the bridge. Incidentally, whenever you cross a London bridge, look out for this symbol here. It's the symbol of the Bridge House Estates Trust. This is an organisation that was set up in medieval times to look after, well then, just London Bridge, and now most of the bridges in central London. In fact, it was even used in a recent episode of Peppa Pig as a little Easter egg in the background when they did their London episode. See if you can spot it. The present bridge was opened in 1921. It was designed by Ernest George and Basil Mott, and it's always, both this newer bridge and the old bridge, has been one of London's least used bridges. It gets far less motor traffic than some of the others. Now at the start, when I asked you to write down things you thought you knew about Southwark Bridge, one of them might well have been the unusual colour scheme. It's the one thing that sticks in the mind, isn't it? This bizarre combination of turquoise and yellow. I don't think I've seen it anywhere else apart from this bridge. It kind of works together, but it does sort of clash with the bright blue of the superhighway over there. Well, we're now at the southern end of the bridge on Bankside, and I want to tell you about something that happened in 1895 up there in the southwest corner. There was an explosion of gas from beneath the paving slabs of the bridge, sending the paving slabs way up into the air, injuring 5 people and sending a chain of fireballs along the bridge. It was a great disaster that's totally forgotten about today. Just one of those weird things that sometimes happens beneath the streets of London. Did you notice what I was leaning on, by the way? This is a peculiar object. This, well, it's a bollard, but it's not just any old bollard. It's an ancient cannon from the Napoleonic era, possibly, or sometime in the Victorian times anyway. And quite a few of these across town, old cannon that have been turned into bollards, but this is perhaps my favourite. It's very weathered, quite a large example. It pays to keep your eyes open and look out for things like this. We all know the modern Shakespeare's Globe, that impressive building on the waterfront over there, but that wasn't the site of the original Globe. That was right here behind me, set further back. And indeed, Southwark Bridge cut through the site of that building, the footprint of that building. So when they came to rebuild the Globe, they couldn't have built it on site because the bridge was in the way. And here we can see on the grounds, they've written the word Globe on this arc, which shows part of the footprint of the Globe. And so you can imagine that curve continuing into a full circle. It would just about go underneath the Southwark Bridge approach road. So there you go. I mean, Southwark Bridge really does have some history to it, going all the way back to Shakespeare's times.